We have this idea that neoliberalism is laissez-faire, that somehow the private sector is independent of the state sector. And I want to say that it's not. And in fact, the neoliberal project, what is unique about the neoliberal project as opposed to the prior classical liberal project, is that it's about aggressive intervention by the state to create market conditions on behalf of corporations, okay?
If we understand that to change society is a complex process, including parliamentarian procedures and the coming up of strong leftist party, as well as direct autonomy of the masses on the street, that we need both of the things, yes? And we cannot have both things together and always be on the same side. We have to have conflicts inside of us, and we have to have the acceptance of these conflicts in all this.
Many people still don't sort of support taxing more the rich, although they are themselves very poor, because they think that maybe they make it still in the future, or their children might make it, and why would I want to tax my future millionaire child, so that belief in possibility still holds, although we are in deep economic crisis. Unfortunately, this ideology of choice still has a lot of power over us.
In the process of neoliberalism, for the first time in the history of this world, we decided to craft laws where knowledge could be privatized. And we came to the new patent law regime, which not only said that we could privatize mathematical algorithms and computer codes, but we went a step further to get a nexus between knowledge and nature privatization when we said we could use life-form patents.
The women's movement has lifted the veil on one of the best-kept secrets of capitalist society, which is the fact that capitalism has in fact subsumed the whole area of so-called personal relationship and has subsumed to the process of production, to the accumulation of capital, the separation of the public from the private and the personal from the political has been very instrumental to hiding a whole immense sphere of unpaid labor, precisely the labor that in capitalism women have done, in the process of reproducing the workforce.
Fiscal rectitude now in the Eurozone and in the European Union more generally is being bandied about like democracy was in Iraq after it was invaded. It is just a term which is being used in order to hide, to disguise a hapless establishment which has no clue of the crisis that has befallen it and which resorts to the only thing that it does know how to do, and that is to squeeze the labor share of income and attack the weak and the dispossessed in order to minimize, in their eyes, the costs of what I call bankruptocracy, which is the new regime we live in after 2008, ruled by bankrupted banks.
The crucial moment came very physically when they elected a day on which they would each take responsibility for one district of Cairo and go there and start chanting in the streets, trying to bring people with them like a Pied Piper. And they brought people into the city and they were chanting about the price of bread. They were not chanting about Facebook. They were chanting about the price of bread.
The legislation that we currently have on referendum, which stipulates that we need 10% of the voter base within 15 days, is such a high institutional threshold that it actually doesn't say anything about what kind of an issue you need, but that you need a strong organization and finances in order to be able to do it.
Razlika između vlasti i moći I ono što je bitno za Foucaultovu teoriju, njegova bitna inovacija, dakle, da moć ne pripada samo vlasti, nego da je ona kapilarno zapravo horizontalno raspoređena, da smo mi uvek već u odnosima nekakve moći, da imamo svi određenu moć. Vlast takođe može ostati bez moći u određenim situacijama, a i mi koji nismo na vlasti, evo, očigledno u ovoj situaciji, imamo sada neku određenu moć, recimo moć da interpeliramo ljude koji nas slušaju i ponudimo u nekoj debati, kako da kažem, interpretaciju koja će postati ovde dominantna i sa kojom će ljudi možda otići kući i iz čije će perspektive čitati ove knjige, na primjer.
The process of rehabilitation, which involves the search for a new home, appears to be, above all, a process by which people, stunned, traumatized, and mutilated by the shifts of events that have expelled them from their homelands, learn to adjust to their sudden state of isolation and uprootedness.
It's not that writing a love poem to your girlfriend or your boyfriend is not beautiful. It is. But the important thing now is to create a really vivid resistance on the part of many dimensions of society. Not merely just poets, but poets, speak to issues involving homelessness, poverty, etc. And that all is a form of resistance.
Dogs ate more today, are curled at the feet of beds, can belch, fart, have hospitals they can be taken to. They'll come out of houses and sniff us dead one day. Pieces of shit lying scattered here in an American city renowned for its food and culture.
The Homeless Union was an attempt to organize homeless people to fight for their rights and not just beg and plead for an extra handout.
Yesterday, we reported that 2 abandoned houses in Oakland were occupied by homeless activists. They remain there today, even though the houses were scheduled to be sold.